Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Halloween episode of Markin Out. I am your host, your ghost host, on this online listening experience. Our tour begins right here in your mind.
This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Spreading like fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out, Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 769. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. We appreciate you even more if you hit that subscribe and download button, but make sure you leave a review wherever you are listening to podcasts, such as on Spotify. We really appreciate you leaving us a 5-star rating. Also, buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/markinout. Make sure you give a like on Facebook and give a follow on TikTok at Markinout and on Twitter at Markinout and on Instagram at Markinout11. You can follow me on all social media platforms at David PT DPT. You can follow Chris at CMSweeney85 on Instagram and Chris Sweendog over on Twitter. And you can follow Brandon across all social media platforms at BTTG161. Brandon, how are you?
I am doing awesome as always. How about yourself?
I am tired, ready to go to sleep.
Crazy
sure.
weather this week.
Yes.
But all is great for I was going to say all is great for Thanksgiving. All is great for Halloween.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know. Nearly a 2-hour commute home. Never happens.
Rough. That's rough.
Halloween 2025. You know? Yeah. Any Halloween plans?
Yeah, watching SmackDown.
Nice. You dressing up?
36 years old. What do you mean, no?
No, not dressing up.
I'll be Brandon from Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk about Pro Wrestling fans.
I was Brandon from Markin Out once.
You are.
Yeah.
Unofficially,
yeah.
But...
Unofficially. But I'll tell you, your Halloween costumes were always great. You got Mankind, Paul Bearer.
They were.
Who else were you?
I was going to say The Fiend. I was Bray Wyatt. I was Mick Foley. Is that it? Sting was iffy.
You did do Sting.
that was iffy though. It was a decent home attempt.
Chris did Ric Flair. Chris has been Ric Flair. I've done a mock-up of... I've done CM Punk.
Did you?
Yeah. Many years ago. Back in college. So this is back in his... When he first started making...
Back in the MySpace days.
Yeah, this is back when he was making a name in the ECW era. You know? But let's get on to it and talk about some pro wrestling this week. It's kicking off with Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Jey Uso opened the show. It was literally a full 10 minutes before we heard Jey say anything, which I think is absolutely crazy. But the fans were going nuts. He said that he has Roman Reigns in his ear, he has Jimmy in his ear, but he doesn't care what they think. He's the number one contender. And then CM Punk came out and they ran his theme back too. I thought that was funny. But CM Punk asked Jey how far he's willing to go to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey was fired up. CM Punk was fired up. I don't think this segment did anything to interest me more in seeing either of them as champion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's going to be either CM Punk or Jey Uso. You had LA Knight also say whoever comes out as champion, he's coming for them. Jimmy was also pissed off at what Jey said in the opening segment. And Jay said he was trying to eliminate LA Knight. He wasn't trying to eliminate Jimmy. Jimmy wasn't having it at all. And then later on, we had Braun Breaker pick up the victory over LA Knight, which that one clothesline spot where Braun Breaker just, I mean, it looks sped up. His speed is insane.
His speed is just wild. Everything that he's doing.
I don't get how somebody is that
entertained.
Fast. It's crazy. I said I don't get how somebody could be that fast.
Mm-hmm.
But Bronson Reed eventually got involved, which LA Knight took him out. I liked LA Knight reversing the press with a reverse DDT, but LA Knight went for that springboard elbow that he does, and Braun Breaker popped up. Knight flew over him, but he ate a spear to have Braun Breaker end the match right there. I still really want to see LA Knight as World Heavyweight Champion.
I hope it happens with this too. You know?
Yeah.
I hope he's well deserved, and you know that the crowd is going to go crazy when that moment happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
We had Penta versus Rusev go to a no contest. This was to become number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta was on fire in this match. He controlled the beginning. Rusev took over. He caught Penta midair with that Machka kick. Penta ends up escaping the accolade. Hits the Penta driver. I was surprised to see Rusev kick out of that. And then Los Americanos showed up and they both attacked Rusev. They attacked Penta. And
I'm glad that Rusev kicked out of it too, though.
I was not expecting
surprised.
that at all.
I'm glad that he did because it kind of preserves Rusev as a force.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And they both had their comeback on Los Americanos. Los Americanos got saved by El Grande Americano. And then later on, Adam Pearce caught Dominic Mysterio talking to Los Americanos, which Dom made like a bunch of excuses for. And Dom was like, well, I guess since Rusev and Penta are going to be teaming up to take on Los Americanos, I won't have a match at Saturday night's main event. And Adam Pearce is like, brother, it's going to be a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. So Dom keeps digging himself into these holes. I hope
it's
Dominic,
hilarious to see.
I hope he walks out still
seeing,
with championship.
Yeah, it's hilarious to see Dirty Dom getting himself into these positions and then just getting worse and worse and worse. But I feel like as it gets worse and worse, the fans just further support Dirty Dom.
I mean, he's huge in Mexico right now, so.
That's true. But next up, you had Roxanne Perez pick up the victory over Nikki Bella. This matchup, you know, it was an impressive victory. It's a very good victory for Roxanne to pick up a victory over Nikki Bella. But there were also moments where Nikki wasn't really it for me. Like there was moments where it just seemed like she got lost in the ring. And there's something about her movement in the ring that just doesn't look fluid to me. I don't know.
Didn't see it like that at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool that clip of Roxanne Perez on Total Divas was going around this week of her telling Nikki that she wants to wrestle her one day. So
on Total Divas?
Yeah. When Roxanne
cool.
was, I think, 13? No, it had to have been like 8 years old. She had to have been like 8.
That's
something
wild.
like that. But Raquel got involved, of course, multiple times. Roxanne tried to cheat with her feet on the ropes. Ref Jess caught that. But Roxanne ended up hitting that Pop Rocks from the corner, gets the victory over there. Huge win over WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. I think it's great that she could come back and eat losses like that. And then Stephanie Vicaire ran down to back the Judgment Day off after they were attacking Nikki Bella, and for a split second, part of me thought Nikki Bella was going to turn heel on Stephanie Vicaire.
Why? What made you think that?
The way she was looking at Stephanie, I don't know. Maybe that is in the cards, though. Who knows? Next week, we have a tag team match between Nikki Bella, Stephanie Vicaire, and the Judgment Day.
Interesting. So for me, I wasn't a for me, when at the end of this, I was questioning everything with Nikki Bella just because the way Nikki Bella came in and got right in between them, it gave me reminiscent of like what we saw earlier this year with Io, Rhea, and Bianca, with Io kind of popping up in the middle of them.
Right.
And I'm not too sure how I feel about seeing that again. I get it, Nikki standing up to fight alongside Vicaire, but I think that Nikki could have stayed down to sell it more. I don't think she needed to get up in there. But next up, you had JD McDonough pick up the victory over Sheamus. And I gotta say, this match was really entertaining. But
Banger?
That's... Huh?
I said banger?
I would call this one a banger. What do you
This
think?
was also kind of funny because the Judgment Day tried to get a rematch for their titles. And Adam Pearce brought up how they both eliminated Sheamus after they were already eliminated. So he made this match for whoever wants it. JD McDonough stepped up. I fully expected to see Sheamus win this match, especially with how much Finn Balor cheated. But like even Finn Balor saved JD McDonough from the 10 beats of the Bodron. Sheamus ends up taking them both out with the clothesline from the apron. Eventually does hit the beats. The counter into the Razor's Edge I thought was dope. But Finn Balor got JD's foot on the rope to break the count. He taunted Sheamus with the shillelagh. And he initially took out Finn Balor. But JD McDonough helped Finn Balor to not get put through that commentary table. And then Finn Balor was able to use the shillelagh with the referee turned away. Knocked Sheamus down off the apron, off the turnbuckle. JD hit the Spanish Fly to get the victory.
But that Spanish Fly, I gotta say, that I was not expecting that from him.
I think
especially
the
on Sheamus.
last time we saw Sheamus do that might have been with Ricochet.
Wow.
Might have been, 3 years ago or so. But then after the match, we saw AJ Lee agree to give the Judgment Day a rematch for the Tag Team Championships. That's going to happen next week. I hope AJ Lee retains.
That's just crazy.
And then the main event, we saw Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the Tag Team Champions, pick up the victory over Bayley and Lyra Valkyria to retain those titles. Asuka had said that the Kabuki Warriors deserved to be in this match. And the 10-year video package that WWE put together for Asuka I thought was really awesome. I don't know if they did that because of the Goldberg thing going around again.
I saw that pop up again, and I'm like, why does
think
this
that was
keep on popping up?
I think it was a new episode, new interview.
No.
I think so. I really do. I think it might have been a new one. I don't know.
At some point, is this guy okay?
Like Goldberg, I like Goldberg. He was great in the position he was in. I'm not choosing him on a team over Asuka though.
No.
It's like
He's
to say some girl. It's so it's beyond sexist, and it's just ridiculous to say that.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us can really condone him with that speech. That's just, yeah.
I liked before this match, Lyra Valkyria was nervous to face Alexa Bliss and Charlotte because she's never faced either one of them before. But I thought this match was very enjoyable. Alexa Bliss at one point, she tagged herself in. Bayley knocked her off the apron and kept going after Charlotte. Lyra tagged herself in and dropped Charlotte. Got hit with the Sister Abigail DDT. That pin was broken up. They kept going. Lyra hits the Nightwing. Her freaking hair gets stuck on Alexa Bliss's gear. And they still got out of that spot. I think that was very well done on the three of them. Bayley checked on Lyra ringside, but mostly, I guess, on Alexa Bliss and Lyra Valkyria for getting out of that spot. I thought that was very well done.
It was definitely a good spot, and I think that the way that they all worked together was very good. Especially, it was nice to see them all with the spotlight of the main event.
Yeah, and Charlotte had Bayley in that figure eight. Lyra grabbed her arm to prevent her from tapping, but Alexa Bliss hit the Twisted Bliss onto Lyra. And then they both hit natural selections to get the victory there. And then the Kabuki Warriors showed up and attacked. So, and then they backed off. That was very interesting. They backed off when Bayley got into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That was very interesting.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, there's obviously history between Bayley and the Kabuki Warriors with damage control, but I don't know what that's going to turn into there.
If anything.
I think it's obviously turning into something. I feel like we're not going to just see the end of the Kabuki Warriors with Lyra Valkyria.
Mm-hmm.
And Bayley at that, so.
True.
But that was Monday Night Raw. Moving over to Halloween Havoc. It kicked off with Javon Evans and Leon Slater picking up the victory over Mr. Iguana and La Parka. It was cool to hear Vic Joseph talk about the original La Parka and acknowledging that this is not the same La Parka from WCW. But this match was just as fun as I thought it was going to be. I was surprised there was a dance break, but La Parka wasn't involved in that dance break. That was very surprising to me. But the rebound springboard German suplex that Javon Evans did to La Parka I thought was dope. And all around, this was just a fun match, like I said. I think it was an obvious outcome there.
Yeah, I think it was an obvious outcome, but I think it was an obvious match that we knew was going to totally just be a great matchup. And it's nice that they opened up the entire event with this matchup, because I think me and you predicted it. We said that this matchup was going to probably be the most entertaining one of them, of the matches, and it definitely was up there.
Yeah, and now we'll, I assume, see. Well, I guess I'll put a pin in that. Well, actually, yeah. I don't know if I will. We'll probably see them go after the tag title, so. After that, we saw Ethan Page pick up the victory over El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. in a Day of the Dead match. Dr. Wagner Jr.'s gear was a tribute to Rey Mysterio's Halloween Havoc 1997 gear, which I always thought was a tribute to El Fantasma. A lot of people saying it's just for the Phantom comic, which, regardless, I think it's cool to see. Because that's what Rey Mysterio's was also based off of, which I also thought was... I thought it was El Fantasma, but who knows? But this match, the ring was lit up in a black light. I was expecting a lot more Day of the Dead themed items. There was normal chairs, there were normal garbage cans. Ethan Page brought a skeleton prop, but that was part of the set. They couldn't.
Yeah,
they could have.
I feel like they could have done a lot more for this.
Yeah, I mean, there were you couldn't get some marigolds to lay out or something, or some sugar skulls, something that glows in the dark at least. I don't know, something that makes it look Day of the Dead. I don't know. I feel like there
should have. I wanted to see more.
Yeah, but Ethan Page got busted open during this, so that was interesting to see that come into play. He also ripped Wagner's mask in half, which set Dr. Wagner Jr. off. I liked later on when Ethan Page turned the mask around, and then when he finally got the mask back facing forward, Ethan Page threw powder at him. He hit that cutter through the Slim Jim table. Nothing says Day of the Dead like Slim Jim. And get the victory off of that, but I had higher expectations, higher hopes for that match. Not that what they did in the match was bad, but if you're calling it a Day of the Dead match, I'm expecting to see the Day of the Dead. I don't think that was.
I agree. I feel like there was so much to have concept wise for a matchup like this.
The least they could have done was have marigolds. The least they could have done was have that, and that wasn't even a blacklight. That's what we got. So
I agree. It was just a blacklight, and that's it. Should have been more. But next up, we had Blake Monroe pick up the victory over Zarya to become the new North American champion. I mean, she gave it a solid, hard-fought matchup.
At one point, in quotes, Zarya's shoulder popped out, so Sol ends up like pushing her into the ring post to pop it back in. I like that moment to like fire Zarya
I didn't know what was
up.
going to happen during that moment too. You had like a stalemate kind of a moment. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I kind of liked that she popped it back in for her.
Yeah, but Blake Monroe had picked up that hair pick again, and Zarya ends up spearing her. She walked into Sol's crutch, though, and knocked Sol Ruka down. And Zarya, instead of focusing on the match, went like a friend to help Sol Ruka up. Blake Monroe was just able to take over from there. She hit the glamour shot DDT on the outside. She hit it on the inside of the ring as well. And then on NXT, she announced that her first title defense will be at Madison Square Garden, part of Gold Rush. I didn't realize it's a double taping back-to-back, so thank God I'm missing that, right? Wonderful.
Lovely.
With AAA, with Evolve, with TNA all involved, one of the coolest things that I could possibly see. Thank God I'm missing it.
Yeah, don't be too happy, Brandon.
Oh, man, it just grinds my gears. I go to Florida twice a year, maybe. And both times I'm in Florida, I miss NXT. What are the odds? 50-50? Is that how it is?
The struggle.
But after that, we saw Tatum Paxley pick up the victory over JC Jane to become the new NXT Women's Champion, which I was really, 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 really hoping to see. And there were parts where I just wasn't sure we were going to see that. But Fatal Influence got involved a few times. I would say JC Jane controlled most of this, but Tatum did have her moments in control. The crowd was pretty split at times.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I kind of wasn't. I was surprised by that too, but I don't know. Everything with JC Jane has really surprised me how great she's been doing.
She hit that neck breaker from the top rope, which I thought was maybe going to be it. Sean Spears put Tatum's leg on the rope. That breaks up the pin. It led to Laney Reed diving out onto the culling. Izzy Dame got involved. And then the referee kicked everybody from ringside. They first kicked the culling out, and then Fatal Influence was like LOL, basically. And then they were also kicked out, which I thought was funny. But I liked Tatum hit that rolling encore that JC Jane does. She hit a 450, which JC still kicked out of. JC hit multiple knees to Tatum Paxley. And then the culling made their way back towards ringside, as did Fatal Influence. But Izzy Dame showed up from behind, and it looked like she was going to hit Tatum Paxley with that championship. JC ends up hitting her with the rolling encore. And Tatum Paxley hit Cemetery Drive. The referee, she pins, and I'm like, oh, that's obviously JC's about to kick out. The referee's nowhere in sight. She ends up getting that count. The referee makes it back. 1, 2, 3. New champion. I couldn't have been happier. I watched that ending a few times. Got goosebumps each time I watched it. I'm very happy that Tatum Paxley's champion.
I agree with you. I think that it definitely well-deserving. Well-deserving. She's been doing so great, and her character development over the course of the last year, 2 years has been really great, especially more so over the last year. She's been awesome and very entertaining. So I'm very happy that she was able to pick up the victory.
She is the first female from Diamond Mine to win gold, I think. Maybe. Maybe.
Interesting.
I don't think Ivy Nile held a title. After that, though, we saw Dark State pick up the victory over the Hardys in a Broken Rules match to win the NXT Tag Team Championships. They had ladders surrounded the ring. I thought that was nice. This match kind of annoyed me from the start, though, because they came out to Woken Matt's theme song in Tron. I was hoping to hear Obsolete, but we got Woken. Even though this was Broken Matt and Brother Nero, it wasn't Woken Matt. But I popped. Jeff Hardy had the Fiend face paint again. Part of me thinks it might even mean even more seeing it in an NXT setting. But this match was so messed up because all 4 members of Dark State were involved. A lot.
Yeah.
And it was so chaotic. The Hardy Boys end up taking Saquon and Cutler James out with the swanton and the diving leg drops through the tables off of ladders. But Osiris and Dion were the legal competitors. They pretty much held the match. I liked them using the 3D on Matt. Part of me in that moment, thought we were going to see the Dudley Boys show up and help Matt and Jeff. Before they took out the other 2. I think Leon Slater and Javon Evans said they wouldn't come out, or the Hardy Boys asked them not to come out or something. I'm upset that they didn't.
I don't know. You know who else didn't come out? Would have been nice if Private Party.
Oh yeah, I guess that they're still apparently signed to AEW with different contract times.
Yeah, that would have been really awesome to see them come out of there.
But the Hardys set up more tables, and Jeff did that swanton off the big ladder, which is still crazy. Osiris ends up moving. Yeah, and he moved from that spot, so Jeff basically went through it by himself. Dark State did the Doomsday Device to put Jeff Hardy through a table, and they end up winning the titles, which I don't hate Dark State as tag team champions. I just think you could have done so much more with the Hardy Boys as champions. You could have had such a bigger outcome by having a different team beat the Hardys.
And I gotta say, I'm not a fan of Dark State as champions. I don't think Dark State should have won and defeated the Hardys.
I don't have a problem with it, but I don't think they should have won. I don't think that was the right decision.
I think it was very fast, too. You could have done so much more with them.
People are obviously saying that the only reason why they won the titles was so it could be on the line in the Dudleys match as well. I don't know if I think that, but I don't think that, I should say.
I mean, it's possible, but even still, it doesn't make sense to lose to Dark State so fast like this.
No. Especially not in your own match. There was nobody to back them up. It did not make sense to me.
I agree. But main event of the evening, Ricky Saints picked up the victory over Trick Williams to retain the championship. We knew that this was going to happen, but it was a very good match.
The ref was pretty lenient with some things at times, though.
True.
But Ricky Saints got busted open. Outside of that, it was a pretty standard back and forth match. Ricky Saints ended up getting put through the commentary table with the bookend. Trick Williams hit the trick shot, but Ricky Saints kicked out of that. Eventually hit the spear, eventually hit that tornado DDT. Don't really like that as a finisher, but that's how it ended the match.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Tatum celebrating her title, which I thought was very weird.
Agreed.
And then I think she had said then when, if you think, something about NXT getting weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is Halloween Havoc. Moving over to NXT, it kicked off with Trick Williams. He first started the show by yelling at production, and then he went into the Performance Center. He went to the ring. He yelled about beating Ricky Saints and how he wants another match. Ava showed up and said there was no controversial ending or anything. He lost. And he ran down his history in NXT. Ricky Saints showed up. They brawled. I'll put a pin in that. Jasper Troy picked up the victory over Axiom to advance in the Speed Tournament. With 10 seconds left, Jasper Troy hit that black hole slam on Axiom. I think as I predicted, it was hard not to see a man the size of Jasper Troy not be the one going to the finals there. Sol Ruka gave up the Speed Championship, unfortunately. Ava gave her the option to let somebody else fight for it, and she said no. Zarya walked off. She was quite disappointed in that, and we have a new Speed Tournament coming next week. Tatum Paxley celebrated her victory. She gave a speech and said that she wants to give everyone an opportunity to become champion. And Izzy Dame cut her off, and she's like, don't do that. And she doesn't picture Tatum as the champion to be giving out title shots. She said people should be earning title shots. And Tatum Paxley basically shot that down, and she went up to the entranceway. Something that people were missing from Halloween Havoc this year was spin the wheel, make the deal. And she unveiled it to show that there is going to be a match that she'll defend the championship against whoever it lands on. And the wheel landed on Lola Vice. And later on, Tatum Paxley versus Lola Vice ended in a no contest. Fatal Influence eventually showed up, and they took Izzy Dame out. And then they surrounded the ring. Lola and Tatum went back to back, and they fought with them. They were outnumbered. And it sets up a 6-woman tag match for next week's show. After that, Kendall Gray picked up the victory over Lash Legend to retain the Evolve Championship. We had the strength of Lash Legend, the technical skill of Kendall Gray. Gray, I think, has a huge future in this business. I really hope she does. She and Callie Armstrong had a killer match for that Evolve Championship the other week. This, I think, was a first good defense for Kendall Gray. And it seems like we'll be seeing the Ren QCC more on television. They did the no quarter catch crew hand gimmick afterwards. So it seems like we will see Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray more as a team. We need to get that third member with them, hopefully soon. And then Charles will come back. You had Miles Bourne pick up the victory over Tavion Heights. The crowd was split. It was a pretty even matchup. Josh Briggs eventually joined commentary, and he got on the apron. Tavion Heights took him out, and then Miles Bourne took both him and Tavion Heights out with a dive to the outside. The ending pin, I thought, was really well done in this match. And then Josh Briggs attacked Tavion Heights afterwards. They end up brawling. Trick came from behind and smacked Miles Bourne with a chair. And he called Ricky Saints out again, and Ricky Saints attacked Trick Williams from behind. And I'll put a pin in that as again. Kalani Jordan picked up the victory over Jordan Grace to retain the TNA Knockouts Championship in the main event of NXT. I thought that was really cool to see. This was a very well-worked match from both of them. The women definitely shined big time on this episode. That splash from Kalani that had Jordan Grace roll into picking her up, I thought was very well done. Kalani Jordan ended up getting out of it, hit that handspring split-legged stunner. Jordan Grace's knee kept giving her problems to the point where I actually thought they were going to call off the match. I guess they were just working us. But Kalani Jordan hit a Spanish fly. Jordan Grace kicked out of that. Trick and Ricky Saints ended up brawling out. And with that distraction, Kalani Jordan grabbed the Knockouts Championship. She dropped it. She had second thoughts. Grace hit a German suplex. She pinned Kalani Jordan. She got out of it. And then the referee, still distracted by Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, she grabs the championship again. Jordan Grace tugs her from behind. She gets clocked with that title. 1, 2, 3. Kalani Jordan retains. And then NXT ends. You have Trick Williams and Ricky Saints still brawling. They end up going through the NXT platform, which is, I think, is a pretty overdone spot in NXT, but it's much better than the barricade spot. And Ava made a last man standing match, I think, in 2 weeks on NXT between the two of them for that NXT championship. I think Ricky Saints will still walk away with that title, but that was NXT. Moving over to SmackDown. The set for SmackDown was all decked out for Halloween, so I thought that was pretty dope. But Tiffany Stratton cut Michael Cole off right away, and she said that she didn't want to wait. She called Jade Cargill out, and Nick Aldis was like, I can't have you get physical. I can't risk you being hurt for Saturday night's main event. Tiffany Stratton didn't care. And she still continued to call Jade Cargill out. Jade Cargill showed up, and Nick Aldis ends up getting security. Jade Cargill was like, it doesn't serve me to go to the ring. And basically said she's going to be doing that at Saturday night's main event, taking the title. Tiffany Stratton still tried to go after Jade Cargill. Security held her back. First match saw the open challenge. We saw Nathan Frazer come out to accept it, which it was kind of set up last week, but Ciampa blew right past him. They end up arguing. Dragunov was like, Nathan Frazer did get here first. I kind of expected for Ilya Dragunov to be like, screw it, I'll take both of you on at the same exact time. I don't care. I think that'd be pretty cool for an open challenge. But Ilya Dragunov picked up the victory over Nathan Frazer to retain that championship. A fantastic match. Certainly the best singles match that we've seen from Nathan Frazer quite some time. That German suplex on the outside was nuts. The German suplex from the middle rope was nuts. Ilya Dragunov somehow got busted open during the commercial break, but he eventually won with the H-bomb, and then chaos erupted. Ciampa attacked Nathan Frazer. Axiom came out. Gargano joined in. Dragunov joined in. They all brawled to the back. And in the end, Tama Tonga somehow had the U.S. Championship. And he ends up giving it back to Ilya Dragunov. So it teases him as a potential person accepting that open challenge. You had Carmelo Hayes pick up the victory over Kit Wilson. Kit controlled, I would say, a good amount of this match. So I think that was nice to see. I like that swinging DDT that he did, but in the end, Miz showed up. He sent Carmelo Hayes into the ring post. Carmelo Hayes eventually came back and hit that first 48 to get the victory. Immediately after the match was over, Miz hit the skull-crushing finale and said that it's not over until he says it's over. We saw Alexa Bliss pick up the victory over Nia Jax. Nia Jax controlled this whole match. Charlotte saved Alexa Bliss a few times. In the end, she caused the distraction that allowed for Alexa Bliss to pin Nia Jax. I liked the match. I liked Charlotte saving Alexa Bliss a few times because it wasn't actually involving herself in the match. I did not like the ending because it did involve her being in the match. I don't think that match needed that. And it sets up Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair for next week. You saw the MFTs pick up the victory over Motor City Machine Guns. Earlier, Fenix had challenged Tama Tonga to a match for next week. Sami Zayn also tried to be ringside for this match, but Nick Aldis said no, because he's not cleared. Motor City Machine Guns, I would say they were on track to win this match, but Tama Tonga got involved. Solo Sikoa got involved. You had to know they were losing. And then the attack after the match continued. Fenix showed up. He got taken out. Shinsuke Nakamura showed up. And at first, he took all the MFTs out by himself except for Tama Tonga. But he got put down by Tama Tonga. We have enough for a 4-on-4 match outside of the Wyatt Six not being here. Once Sami Zayn is cleared, we have enough for a 5-on-5 match here as well. Motor City Machine Gun, Shinsuke Nakamura, Fenix, Sami Zayn, the MFTs, Solo Sikoa. We'll see what happens. That was the main event. Then we went to the contract signing with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Before this, Drew McIntyre told Nick Aldis he's all good to sign. And then when it came time to actually sign the contract, he's like, no, I can't sign it. It's completely lopsided. And he explained that if Drew McIntyre gets counted out, or if he gets DQ'd, Cody retains the championship. And then he said that if Cody does those things intentionally, he also keeps the championship. And Nick Aldis threatened to get anybody in the back to give them a title shot because they'd be more than happy to sign that title, that contract. And Cody wasn't having that. Cody agreed to Drew's terms. Nick Aldis wasn't happy about it. But then Drew signed, and I liked... Afterwards, Drew McIntyre referred to himself as the real American Dream. And Cody brought up how when he left WWE, he did it on his own. Drew McIntyre, he built himself back up to get back to WWE, but he was fired from WWE. And Drew was like, you should be out trick-or-treating with your kids instead of pandering to the crowd by wearing an orange suit for Halloween. That pissed Cody Rhodes off. He went to swing on McIntyre with that WWE Championship. McIntyre ducked it. And that was it. Drew McIntyre was able to hit that Claymore. He powerbombed Cody Rhodes through the table. And that's the end. And I had high hopes for McIntyre maybe winning the championship. Now the odds go down. But we have Saturday night's main event taking place Salt Lake City, Utah, the Delta Center. We have Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against Penta and Rusev. It has to be Dominic here. Tiffany Stratton defending the championship against Jade Cargill. I think this seems like it might be a Jade Cargill win here. I'm going to say Jade Cargill. You have for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship, WWE Superstar, I don't know why I said that, CM Punk taking on Jey Uso. I feel like this has to be CM Punk. And I said before, I really wish it was LA Knight, but it has to be CM Punk here. For the WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes defending the championship against Drew McIntyre. I mean, with the way SmackDown ended, I think it has to be Cody Rhodes. I would really like to see Drew McIntyre walk out as WWE Champion, though. I think that'd be awesome. Then get like a reign of terror from Drew McIntyre. I don't think that'll happen, but it would be awesome. But those are my picks for Saturday night's main event. Gonna take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Yeah, this is Shock Illusionist Dan Sperry, and you're listening to Markin Out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out episode 769. Moving back to Collision from last week, it kicked off with Hangman Adam Page talking about the Ops. He brought up them feuding with the Death Riders and how they basically set it up for Hangman to beat Jon Moxley and win that championship. And he said Samoa Joe must have been embarrassed for losing to him at Wrestle Dream. Now he's hunting them. The champion is hunting challengers always. Always in that company. We're seeing it currently with Darby Allin. With an asterisk, because they're not really hunting. They're not doing anything. I'll put a pin in that. First match saw Pac pick up the victory over Ishii. Obvious outcome. It's literally how every Ishii match goes. He doesn't win singles matches in AEW. The Death Riders got involved. It's a copy and paste sort of match. Absolutely meaningless victory for Pac. You had Tekla pick up the victory over Mina Shirakawa. Again, an obvious victory. Mina Shirakawa literally just lost the championship, so I don't think she should be losing. But the obvious part comes, Tekla is needing the victories here. Mina Shirakawa hasn't won a singles match since May. Sky Blue, Julia Hart both got involved. Mina Shirakawa got the better of them. But Tekla was able to get the victory off of the distraction. You had Ty J interviewed about the tag team championships, and they got interrupted by Nixon Newell and Miranda Alizé. I think it's awesome to see Tegan Nox back on television. It sucks that she's definitely not going to be in a winning position. She's definitely there just to lose to Tay J or Ty J. You had Olympia pick up the victory over Taya Valkyrie. Taya's last singles victory in AEW was October 2024. You could visibly see people not caring at all about this match. They have no reason to care about this match. Why would anyone know who Olympia is? They didn't introduce her. Like, how a simple video. It makes no sense. And then later on, you had Olympia challenge Mercedes Moné for the championship. Ace Austin picked up the victory over Brian Keith. I think it's great to see Ace Austin get the victory here. I could swear commentary spent more time talking about the upcoming events and other matches on the show than actually talking about this match. Ace ends up winning with the fold. We need more matches for Ace. We need more victories for him. You had Hook pick up the victory over Griff Garrison. Literally nothing to talk about this. This doesn't even set him up for the main event of Dynamite. Truly, like, not at all. Griff Garrison, a win over Griff Garrison does not equate to maybe getting a victory over Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe, or Ricochet. Main event saw Jurassic Express and Jet Speed pick up the victory over FTR and the Young Bucks in a $400,000 match. Obvious outcome. Don't need to talk about that. Dynamite kicked off Fright Night. Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin picked up the victory over the Death Riders in a trick or treat tornado tag. The boring B team of the Death Riders of Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia were in this match. I had less than no interest in this match. Darby is supposed to be doing everything he can to stop the Death Riders, because like I said before, he's hunting the Death Riders. That wasn't really the case at all in this match. Congrats, you beat him with a sharpshooter, a scorpion deathlock on Wheeler Yuta. He tapped out. He was still conscious. Daniel Garcia was still up and conscious after this match. You're not hunting them. FTR picked up the victory over Jurassic Express. The Young Bucks and Jet Speed to become number one contenders. Don Callis tried to get the Young Bucks to join the Don Callis family, to the point where he even introduced them. I don't know if that's something we'll end up seeing, but with the way the Don Callis family is, I don't see why not at that point. I don't know. Everyone else is in that group. This match, super chaotic. Bryan Danielson was confused at one point, which means I was even more confused. FTR made the most sense to be the winners of this match, given the status in AEW of them. Jurassic Express, I think, though, should 100% be holding the tag team titles within a year, with how over they are. Afterwards, even though they advertised Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, they cut to a Don Callis family summit. They said Takeshita couldn't be there due to travel issues. The whole segment was based on Takeshita. So obviously Takeshita was going to be there. And then he shows up. Okada and him stare one another down. Don Callis made Takeshita try to shake Okada's hand. He went to do it, and Okada flipped him off. The slowest build ever to a singles match that I do not care about. Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly ended in a double countout. So happy they ran this back. Marina Shafir attacked Aubrey Edwards. Claudio took Kyle O'Reilly out. They continued the fight. Roddy showed up. The B team showed up. Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy showed up. It sets up blood and guts. They completely forgot about the women doing a blood and guts. Truly, truly awful. Cut to backstage. You have Mercedes Moné fighting with Chris Statlander. She gets dragged to the entrance ramp. They go towards the ring. This is exactly what they did with Toni Storm and Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander got the upper hand. Athena showed up and attacked Chris Statlander. And then eventually Willow Nightingale made the save. All for the tag team titles. Billy Stark sits out in the rain, does absolutely nothing. She's nowhere to be found in this random pairing of Athena and Mercedes Moné. I have a bad feeling about the winners of this tag team championship tournament. But the first match of that tournament saw Triangle of Madness pick up the victory over Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata. This got to be chaotic at times, but I at least enjoyed the match. They had a lot of tags in and out for Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata. They also controlled a lot of this match. I like the slap spot with Queen Aminata and Sky Blue. There was a spot where the camera had missed Tekla taking out Jamie Hayter. Everyone thought it was Julia Hart. Commentary thought it was Julia Hart, and they were like, well, wait a minute, it's Tekla. This is exactly how I saw that match ending, though. With Tekla getting involved, costing Jamie Hayter the match, and Sky Blue and Julia Hart walking out as winners. I just wish that the referee had more control over this, especially when you're having a match for brand new championships. You really shouldn't have all that chaos. You really shouldn't have all that outside interference. But I'm really hoping they are the team that takes the titles. I don't have faith in that due to Athena and Mercedes Moné, but that could also be like they lose in the finals and then that leads them to feud because champion versus champion, that's what AEW loves to do. Yet Penelope Ford announced backstage that she's out indefinitely due to an injury. And then Marina Shafir showed up with Jon Moxley. So even though she just took out Aubrey Edwards, she is now getting a tag team title shot. Make that make sense. It's also a shame that you have a tournament with tag teams. You almost had Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie as a real tag team in the company. Dropped the ball big time with them. It's been, I think, almost a year since we've seen them as a team. They have like one match maybe together as a team. I would rather have them in this tournament than most of the other teams in this. AEW just doesn't know how to book women. I say that every single week. You have so many women in that roster, you don't use it properly. You have two champions, the main champions, feuding with one another again, instead of letting other women feud with other women. And then one of those main champions are also feuding with other women because they're in a tag team title tournament. I don't understand it. I don't get why Marina Shafir is being rewarded with a title shot for taking out a referee. Samoa Joe in the main event picked up the victory over Hook, Bobby Lashley, and Ricochet to become the number one contender. Boring main event. A lot of people love this match. I thought it was an obvious outcome. Very obvious outcome. The show was supposed to be over, and then they randomly had a contract signing for that match. In what world? What world do you need to have an instant contract signing? A bunch of people came out in costume. Someone as a Stay Puft Marshmallow was dressed up. You had, obviously, it makes people assume, oh, that's got to be Hangman based on him doing that once before. But you'd have to be a moron to think that it was him again. The Ops took out the costumed characters. They unmasked the Marshmallow to reveal it wasn't Hangman. Who would have thought? And then Hangman. It was the goofiest thing. So many people I see putting it over. I don't see how they thought it was Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone disappeared. You see a character with darker hair, different facial hair, but yep, it's Tony Schiavone outside the ring. Let's have a toast. And then there's other people who think that Tony Schiavone was Hangman was doing a Tony Schiavone vocal impression. You could hear what I assume is Hangman mumbling during that when Tony Schiavone is horribly delivering the lines. And then, obviously, Hangman gets in the ring as Tony Schiavone. He unmasks. I think as in the crowd, maybe not. As anybody watching on TV, you'd have to have been an absolute idiot to think that was Tony Schiavone. You would have to be a moron to not know that was Hangman. It was an absolutely awful episode of Dynamite. So, that's AEW. Hey, Brandon. Got any shout-outs?
This is Yoda, and listening to Brandon's shout-outs you are.
Nobody Wants This gets the first shout-out. It's back on Netflix for Season 2. It stars Kristen Bell as a podcaster, Adam Brody as a rabbi. They continue to navigate their relationship from Season 1. I really wish there were more episodes than just 10. I didn't mean to finish it on the first day. It's a quick watch.
Yeah. It is a very quick watch.
You watched both seasons?
Of course. How do you not? It's a great show.
I don't know. I think it's the perfect romantic comedy series. I've seen some very negative reviews about it. But I think if you enjoyed season 1, you should enjoy this. But I don't know.
I thought that...
Yeah, I don't...
So, no spoilers. I'm on the last episode right now. Mm-hmm. But I thought that both seasons were incredible. I think that every character has such a different thing that they're bringing to the table that it's just a great combination of everybody. Something that blew my mind, that Esther was the little girl on The Nanny. What? I didn't know that. Yeah. Apparently, she's the little girl on The Nanny.
Is that accurate?
I'm pretty positive. Because they mentioned it on the TV show. They mentioned it on the news. And I was just like, no way.
I don't think so. She was on American Idol. I don't think so.
She was on American Idol?
Oh, wait. Her first credited role was on the sitcom The Nanny. But she wasn't the little kid on The Nanny.
Oh, who was she on The Nanny?
It says Tiffany and Francine.
Okay. Madeline Madeline Zima was the little girl.
She was on 2 episodes. I was like, there's no way.
Oh, that changes everything. Because I had a patient trying to convince me that was the little girl, and I was like, no way. And I just never looked it up.
No, I remember her first from American Idol. And then I remember her on Glow.
I don't know her too much, but...
She's local.
I thought that... Let's see.
Did you know that?
She's on The Boys. That I have to see.
Did you know she's local?
No, is she?
Yeah, born Long Island.
Hell yeah. Oh, Oceanside. There you
so,
go.
We would both recommend Nobody Wants
100%. Everything with the everything the brother is hilarious.
Yeah.
The relationship
everybody
that
does their role perfectly.
Yeah, the relationship that Morgan has with that brother, the Sasha and Morgan, is hilarious. Yeah, the show is so well done. If you see any negative reviews, they just don't have good taste in life.
My next shout out goes to the Chair Company. Have you heard anything about this television program?
I was contemplating watching it. Tell me, should I watch it?
I don't know. Tim Robinson created this show. He stars in it. It's on HBO. I was hoping for this show to be more like Detroiters, but it's a comedy thriller, which I didn't realize it was a comedy thriller going into it. There's only a few episodes out so far, but Tim Robinson is so good in that kind of role. Like, he just did that movie with Paul Rudd, Friendship, which is also a similar sort of, not so much of a thriller, but somewhat of a similar genre. So if you're into that sort of genre of like a comedy thriller, I would say 100% go for it.
I'm going to have to. And I just looked up the picture. I totally remember her episode now.
That's weird.
So she played the love interest or the crush of
so she wasn't even a little kid?
No, she was the little kid. But she
Oh.
was the crush of the boy. I forgot his name. But she was the crush of him, and she was pretty much a direct replica of Fran.
Oh.
Like, she had the voice and stuff like that.
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that was that episode.
My next shout out goes to Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman, which airs on USA Network after SmackDown. This was filmed back in February, so he's still a current WWE superstar on the show, which I think is weird. But I think for what this show is, I think it's good. And I like that they can curse. You don't typically get that on like a food show. Nothing crazy, but I think it adds a layer of authenticity to the show. And it doesn't treat... Like, it doesn't... Braun Strowman doesn't, like, come off as an expert in food. It just showcases the food in, like, a friendly way. Mm-hmm. And I hope it gets picked up for more seasons. I enjoyed the first few episodes that I've seen so far.
Nice.
I also wanted to acknowledge the passing of Nick Mangold. Unfortunately, he was only 41. He played for the New York Jets for 10 years. I don't follow football, but I've gotten some opportunities to do things that some people may never get the chance to do. And one of those things was in the very first year that MetLife Stadium opened, I got to take a tour of the stadium and meet Nick Mangold and Mark Sanchez. And when I met Nick Mangold, he was incredibly kind. He was so happy to be there. And I would occasionally hear from people that I looked like I could be Nick Mangold's brother. The groundskeeper at MetLife was like blown away that I wasn't related to him. But
you could have easily gotten season tickets or something.
I don't know about that. But it's just such an unfortunate thing. Nick had posted on social media 2 weeks ago that he needed a kidney donation. And I guess he had been suffering with chronic kidney disease since 2006. And unfortunately passed away from complications to that. So that's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But those are my shout outs. Now it's time for our That is right. Our Mark Out moment of the week. I said one of them, two of them, I guess, earlier. One being Jeff Hardy using the Fiend face paint again. Especially in NXT, like I said. Another being Tatum Paxley winning the NXT Women's Championship. You had a Mark Out moment, I believe?
Yeah. I was definitely marking out for that. And also, The Price is Right. They had a pro wrestling episode today, which was incredible. So, definitely marked out for that.
Also on NXT, we got a Joe Hendry segment where Ethan Page and Chelsea Green were talking about their upcoming match for AAA. And Chelsea was talking about all the places that she's been looking for a new agent. And she rattled off basically the lyrics to Joe Hendry's theme song. And then Thea Hale walked by in the background and she's like, I believe in Joe Hendry. And Hendry popped out of the trash can, so... That was an interesting spot to be, but I popped for that.
There you go.
So
that is episode 769. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure that you subscribe and download and give us that 5-star rating to go with the 5-star Frog Splash. Go buy a t-shirt. Follow us across all social media platforms. And we wish you the
best
of
luck.
your future endeavors.
Your future endeavors.